I forgot to mention about how I believe there are different levels of the Super Saiyan or Ubermensch. Initially you have to have that state of mind in order to even hope to achieve the Ubermensch or Super Saiyan status. But I don't believe it ends there. I don't believe it ends at just a state of mind. This is where my religious beliefs come in. It might not be that way. There might never be a time where you physically manifest into the Super Saiyan. But if you truly understand that spiritual evolution, maybe one day you will ascend into a greater being that can implement his will physically. You can implement your will into the world. And that is what I believe is the point of prayer and sorcery and magic and witchcraft and blah blah blah. It's all bullshit. It's all this fruity-tooty ritual and crap. But ultimately it is to, implement your willpower into the world and have physical manifestations of it come to life. Let me put it in a way that you can understand. When people think prayer and magic and shit, what do you think of? Do you think, like, let's say there's a little cancer boy that you want to cure his cancer. Do you think you just lay your hands upon him and bam, it cures his cancer? It doesn't work like that. It's not about curing his cancer. It's about the idea. It is about life versus death. It is about health versus sickness. It is about energy versus entropy. It is about, being free from disease and pestilence and suffering versus, just being enslaved and miserable. You have to fight those convictions. There are positive convictions and negative convictions. And we live in a world predominantly evil convictions. And the unfortunate matter of it is that this monopoly on the evil convictions is all that we see around us. And yeah, they fight sometimes, but that is the gist of the matter. I guess you could say I'm a polytheistic Christian, because I do believe that the Lord God Yahweh is a being of pure justice, of pure righteousness, and that He wants right and wrong to be implemented universally, or multiversally if you believe in multiverses. But ultimately, that is what God is. God is not about being a nice guy. God is not about, giving people what they want or giving people, what they think they need. They're suffering. Oh, boo-hoo, I'm in so much pain. God doesn't care. God doesn't care about you as the individual or even you as the idea of a human or as a living being. He's not here to be your Santa Claus. He is here to differentiate right from wrong. And maybe your suffering is wrong, but in and of itself, He doesn't give a shit about your suffering. Do you see what I'm saying? When you reach that level of mind where you are engrossed in that ideal, you look at good and evil differently. You are beyond good and evil in the sense of human ingenuity, of human understanding, or at least common human understanding. Because some humans obviously get it. After all, I get it. Of course, some David Icke conspiracy buffs would claim that I must not be human. Oh, I'm a reptilian, or some bullshit. But no, I am human, and thus, it is possible for a human to understand that state of mind. But is it possible for a human to become that state of being? That is the question. But, even if they can't, even if it isn't like, that movie that recently came out, I forget what it's called. It's about the teenagers with superpowers. Even if it doesn't happen like that, there is still the state of mind, and you can still devote your life and have an advantage in that you know what you want in life, and that you will stop at nothing to get it. And, there's no amount of bargaining, there's no amount of intimidation, there's no amount of any kind of force that they can use upon you that will stop you. And eventually, you're going to win in one regard or another. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that you are impenetrable. I'm not saying that you are unstoppable. You are still a human being. You still have limitations physically and emotionally. And you have to pick your battles, because you will get exhausted, you will fail, and eventually you will die. But when you understand those convictions, it changes you. You manifest into a better person. And that is what I believe finding God or Jesus or whatever is all about. It isn't about going to church. It isn't about doing the right thing and saving people from themselves and helping the poor and blah, blah, blah. It's not about that. It's about the morality, the physical morality. And I don't see enough people getting that. Then again, the predominant evil permeating our existence probably prevents them from doing so. People are motivated by greed, hatred, wrath, and just madness. They're crazy. And, it's unfortunate that that is what, has sinked into their souls, and that is all they know. And they conflict and they battle, and that is the only balancing factor, that evil will eat evil in order to benefit itself. But I would believe the good would do the same thing. If we lived in a predominantly good society, I believe we would still have war and shit. We would just have war over different reasons. We would have war over the convictions of love, faith, charity, over greed, hatred, xenophobia, ignorance, etc. It's the same thing. Principles are neither good and evil in the sense that how we perceive them in human relations, but they are good and evil in that they breed positive and negative consequences, positive and negative vibrations. And I know that sounds really new age, and it's kind of ironic that I despise David Icke, but, David Icke initiated violence against me. I had no problem with him until he fucking banned me from his forum. So, it's all on him. He's a piece of shit, he's a hypocrite, and I hope he has a heart attack and dies. But that's what I'm trying to say here. The Super Saiyan is something that you should aspire to be, but I am not guaranteeing that you will become it. But when you do become it, you will know it, because you can implement your will in ways you never thought possible. It isn't about, just flying around and being an unstoppable force. You will never be godly. I don't even think what you perceive to be God would be a real God. God is not just something that is all-knowing and all-seeing and all-perfect in the sense of the human thought pattern where, nothing bad can ever happen. It doesn't work that way. It's about the conviction. What is your conviction? What is your spiritual singularity? That's all I have to say.